Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Oh my God, what is? I don't think, Michael, you're going to need the stool, but if you do, it just gives you an extra boost. Um, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today. Michael Duben is currently the Chief Administrative Officer of the City of Chatham, Kent, and he's no stranger to this club. Now, those of us that know Michael know he's a little strange, but he's no stranger to this club. He was past president from 2004 to 2005. He's also been district governor from 2011 to 2012. Um, I've known Michael as an attorney in town, and he's a dear friend and a friend of this club always. Michael?
I'm strange. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if I need this, but so I have some guests with me, those of you online. So I've got Shelley Duben with me today, who is a member of the club from 2004 until 2013. President a couple times, I think, maybe 2006, 2007, something like that. And I also have Glenn Smith with me today. Glenn is a 7-year Rotarian with the Rotary Club of Chatham Sunrise. And the three of us are going to talk to you about a little project that we're working on. Shelley's going to put up something on the screen, but I'll get started before she does that. You know, a lot of these international projects, they start from interesting beginnings. So this particular one, thought I'd just let you know that I attended a conference in Edenville, different Edenville from what Deborah just talked about, but outside of Orlando, Florida. And I attended along with my mayor because it was a world conference of mayors, but it was really about mayors that have communities within their municipalities that have, you know, historic Black settlements. So as some of you may know, Chatham Kent has a couple of historic Black settlements within the territory. So we went to this conference. It was a very small conference, but we did end up meeting a mayor from the Gambia and sort of got to know him, befriended him a little bit. And he said, you know, I'd love to get you guys to come and visit. And we got to talking and realized that they have a lot of needs in Gambia. And that's really where the beginning of this started. And I have, you know, we reached out to our mayor, by the way, is a Rotarian at the Chatham Sunrise Rotary Club. His attendance is quite poor, but he is, in, I guess in name alone, he's a Rotarian, but he does come to the odd meeting. Yeah, I think it conflicts with some radio interviews that he gives. So we thought, well, it would make a lot of sense for, you know, with the experience that Shelley and I have with Relay and the Chatham Sunrise Club and the relationship that the mayor has started with the mayor there, why don't we explore that? And so that's where we are today. We've been exploring a project for quite some time. The fellow that you see on the screen, his name is Lamin Kujabi. Lamin is, I guess he's similar to what I am in his municipality. He's not referred to as a chief administrative officer, but he is one of the top administrative people within Kuntar region, which is in the Gambia, and he's been great. And I got to tell you, from the early days of Relay that this club was involved in, I think our first Relay project was back in 2005. Yeah, when, you know, we were still writing letters because they didn't have any technology. There were no emails, there was no Skype, there was no WhatsApp or anything like that. Things have really changed. Like if we were to call Lamin right now on WhatsApp, he would likely answer. And so it allows for projects to move so much better now that the technology is in place. And so, so I got a little description of the three of us there, and we're working with Lamin. We're hoping to take a team, well, we are taking a team in January. I'll invite the two of them up to tell you a little bit more about the project, but does anyone know where the Gambia is? Obviously, Africa is a big country. So the Gambia, sorry? A big continent, yeah, sorry. I've made the same, I'm always critical of people that make the same mistake. So it's a huge continent. The Gambia is, as you can see on the map there, is on the far west end of Africa. Many years ago, when people used to fly from North America to Africa, the planes wouldn't allow you to go all the way to, you know, Ethiopia and South Africa and some of the eastern side. So you would actually stop in Dakar, Senegal. So a lot of planes would stop at Dakar, just on the runway, Passengers would stay on, they'd clean it up and maybe switch out the pilots and then go on. But nowadays, with the planes being able to go much further, you don't have to do that. But that's where the west end of Africa was originally known for, as sort of the stopping point. So it's really interesting because the Gambia is this little sliver, as you can see on the screen, and it's completely surrounded by Senegal. So if you're in the north part of Senegal and you want to go to the south part of Senegal, you got to go through the Gambia. It is ultimately it was a former British colony, and Senegal is completely French. So it's also interesting that they've been able to maintain their sort of English heritage, despite the fact that they're completely surrounded by a very French, former French colony in Senegal. So the area that we are going to, do we have a, yeah, but if you can just go back, Shelley, to the map. Yeah, it's on the north side of the river. You'll notice that blue thing in between the Gambia, that's the river. And basically the country is on the north of the river and the south of the river. They're one of the top peanut producing countries. Jimmy Carter would be proud. One of the top peanut producing countries in all of in the whole world. So we are going to, I'm not gonna be able to point to it. I guess on the screen here I can, but yeah, it's right up over there. So it's the north side of the river and quite far inland. So that's where the Kuntar region is. It's along the Gambia River, which would be pretty interesting. There's a lot of trade along the Gambia River because the river opens up into the ocean on the west coast. Banjul is the capital of the Gambia and is actually a fairly large commercial area. Cruise ships that go up the west side of the African continent often stop in Banjul, and they have a number of hotels there that are oceanside resorts, and we're hoping to stay at one for a couple days at the end of the trip once we're all worn out. So that's it for me, I think, in terms of project location. I think I'm going to turn it over to Glenn, and Glenn is going to tell you, we have 3 pillars to the project, and Glenn is going to talk about 2 of them, and Shelley's going to talk about the 3rd one. So come on up.
When the mayor met with the mayor and they discussed some of the needs in the Gambia, the mayor of Kuntar went back, wrote a letter then to the mayor describing some of their dire needs. And they need clean drinking water. They're right on the river, but they have trouble accessing clean drinking water. And they also need some kind of fire suppression, fire prevention, firefighting equipment. They have people willing, the government is willing to have firefighters, but they don't have equipment. So we looked at those gaps and we were able to come up with a couple of ideas. And one is we're going to bring a fire truck with us.
And actually, you wouldn't know, but this club is very familiar with sending a fire truck.
Well, you know more than me. This is new to me, I'm learning. And for instance, we learned that a fire truck cannot fit in a shipping container. This is too big. So it has to be shipped a different way. And we have a freight forwarding company working on that right now. So we're going to ship this fire truck over that was donated to the Rotary Club of Chatham Sunrise by the city. Very nice. It's a nice truck. I don't remember the year. It's got some years on it, but not a lot of kilometers because it's in a small town of Erio. And so every trip it took over the years is only 1 or 2 kilometers, really short. So it's in good shape, but by our standards, it's too old. For the standards for the Gambia, it'll be fine. And they're going to commit to have firefighters there and pay them, have a professional staff. So we're going to ship a truck over there, and we're also going to build a temporary structure to house the truck. That's the basic drawing for it, just the basic structure until they could build a proper firehouse. They have a design for a proper firehouse, really nice. It's the Taj Mahal of firehouses. It's beautiful, but that's going to take some time and money. And so that's part of the project. Now, this truck is a fire truck, is a pumper, which means you can go to the river and suck water out of it and then go fight fires, which is really good. They kind of need that. So this is the perfect truck for them. And so we're excited about that. We don't know the exact dates for shipping yet. We're getting all of those logistics worked out, but we hope that it's there before we get there. That would be nice. Now, the other part of the project is I mentioned the access to clean drinking water. So we hooked up with a school there, an elementary school, and we're going to install a well, a borehole, on the property, and that will provide clean drinking water for the, how many, 200 and some odd students?
I think it's closer to 400.
400 and 500 residents in the area as well. And this works out with the well, and then we could use that as a template to go throughout the region, because there's 100,000 people or so with inadequate access to clean water. So this would be a start for a longer term project. Have I covered those two areas sufficiently? Any questions about them?
We'll open it up for questions.
Okay, go ahead. Next. Thanks.
So I guess what's interesting for us, for Mike and I, usually we're we're usually running the projects. It's a relay project, and this is not that. This is sort of like that, but not quite the same. And I actually have to say that it's so nice not to have all the responsibility on the two of us to do everything. Glenn has been like super amazing. Every time we ask him to look into something, it's done the next day.
I'm tired.
Yeah, you did better than me. But yeah, and having another club also behind us, since the Passport Service Club is obviously a very small club and we're scattered all over the place. So this has been a different experience for us, but of course, that's what we do is the relay, which is the education part of it. So when we were looking at doing a borehole at the school, then we also looked at what else is needed at the school. So the picture of the school looks like every other school that we've ever shown you when we've done relay projects. Like they really don't change much from country to country when we're in Africa. This one's actually not that old though. The school isn't that old, so it doesn't need a lot of renovation in the same way that a lot of the other schools did. They're actually building this school, and each year they're getting one more grade. So they didn't start with a grade, kindergarten to grade 8. They started small and they've been building since then. So I think they're up to grade 5. So they actually have, the building is big enough for all of the students, and they've still got a little bit of room for growth, but they don't have enough desks for all of the students. They certainly don't have equipment. Like they don't have sporting equipment. They don't have soccer balls. They don't have like their playground area you can see, or their outdoor area. It's just nothing, right? They don't have anything there. And when they don't have, so they've got desks for some of the classes that are already there, but they don't have it for the expansion that's happening each year. So we'll be looking at doing similar to what we did with all our other relay projects. There are some minor renovations and some painting and things like that we'll do just to sort of spruce it up. But they'll also be, we'll be getting like books for them, whatever their curriculum books are that they need there. We'll hopefully start a library there like we have with other projects, but buy the books there again. We'll bring a lot of stuff with us like we always do, like soccer uniforms and activities to like things that they can do for arts and crafts and things like that. So there's a lot of things. We'll do a plan like we often do, where we're going to have team members working with the students and with the teachers. We'll show them different ways of doing things. We're lucky Glenn's wife is she does a lot of that kind of stuff, activities with students, and will be helping to lead that with me probably. So it's that part of it will be similar. We'll bring backpacks, we'll do all that kind of stuff. And we're in contact with, again, Mike was saying how easy it is to communicate. I have the headmistress on WhatsApp, and I can send her a message, and like usually within 5 minutes, she's answered my question. So it's a really easy back and forth. What we haven't figured out yet is she knows the school part, but doesn't always know like who the suppliers are, let's say for the desk. So we're working through some of those just to try to get more information, but that part of it will be similar. So when we're there, we're going to have, you want me to talk about the team, or do you want to talk about that? Okay, so right now we've got a team of 16 people who have committed to going. It's a little bigger than what we thought, but as soon as we put it out there were so many people who were interested. So I think we have eight or nine people, you said, from your club, Glenn. We've got the two of us from the Passport Club. Deborah from this club is coming as well, which we're excited about because Deborah's been on a couple of relay projects with us. And then we have spouses of some of the people who are attending, and a couple of other community members. Yeah.
Shelley, could you explain what the term relay means?
Oh,
We've got
sorry,
New
yeah,
members that
yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
they've never heard of it
Yeah.
before.
So relay was an acronym that Mike and I came up with. Actually Mike came up with in the middle of the night. That was Rotarians Enhancing Learning of African Youth, and was the start of a project from in 2005 that we began with in Ghana, and then moved around to we've done 7 projects in different countries in Africa over the years. So and all had a very similar kind of feel to it, and in working with always an education portion of it, and then often a clean water, sometimes a health, depending on what the needs were there. Cows, yeah, buying cows, sewing machines, so there were all kinds of different things. But yeah, this time we will have a team of 16, which is a fairly large team. And we're working on what everybody will do when they're there, but there will be people working at the school. There'll be some that will be helping with the building for the fire truck, not building it, but perhaps painting it and putting, building shelves and things like that inside. We don't think we're going to have much of a role of building the borehole, but I think at the school there'll be quite a bit to do. One of the things that we will do for sure is we'll arrange to do some like a needs assessment with the members of the community. So having the contacts that we do with the mayor and Mike, the version of Mike Lamon, we'll be able to meet with some of the officials who are dealing with medical, with water, with whatever else, to find out what are the needs for the community. So this is like an exploratory trip as well. And we always know that, we've learned that, and the first time we go, we can't just do everything. We don't know what exactly is needed. So that'll be a big part of what we do there as well, is figure out what are our next steps if we're going to go back. So we plan to go at the beginning of January, or mid-January, for probably about 2 weeks total when we do the trip itself, do the work. It's going to take a few days to get there, do the work on site, go to Monkey Island or whatever it is that Glenn wants to go to, that is in the river. And then most of us are going to do some kind of a short vacation kind of at the end for a couple of days. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things I wanted to say is and I appreciate Glenn's club. There's a lot of Rotary projects that go on around the world, right? And you see pictures of people handing checks and stuff like that. And one of the first things we talked to with Glenn is that if you want Shelley and I involved, it's got to be a working project. Like, people have to get their hands dirty and understand that where the school is, by the way, is not that close to the water. It's about 30 minutes north. So we'll have to take a dusty bus ride every morning. But we've said, we're not just there to drink the local beer and to shake hands and take pictures that you can send home or put on social media. We're actually going to do work. And Shelley's comment, I just want to reiterate that we've learned a lot over the years. I remember our very first project, we, with the support of Windsor St. Clair, we put in some washrooms. Actually, it was a second project, I guess. We put in some washrooms. And we found out shortly afterwards that the washrooms had been closed. And the reason is because they were the nicest washrooms in the whole village. So instead of them being the washrooms just for the students and the teachers, they became the washrooms for the whole community. And it wasn't designed for that. And in some cases, people didn't actually know how to use the washroom. So they would just go behind the washroom like they did before. Before, they had like a human litter box, which was a thing this high in a U shape, and a shovel. People would do their business, cover it up with sand, and then walk out the other end. So now they see these buildings that are a bit higher with sand behind them. And so some people were using the back of the buildings instead of opening the door and actually using the running water. And so we kind of realized that, you have to make sure that the community's on board and that there's some sustainability factors in place. So quickly in that case, thankfully the community came together. And by the way, the washrooms the things would break, just like at home. The little chain would break and the water would continue running and stuff like that. So what they did, to the community's credit, is they hired a security guard. They charged everybody an equivalent of a penny. If you weren't from the school and you wanted to use the washrooms, you'd have to pay a penny. Security guard would always guard the washrooms and teach people how to use them. And if anything broke, they actually had this little fund where they can get somebody to come in and repair it. I know it sounds like such a little thing, but I just share that with you because we've learned a lot over the years. And so when Shelley talks about the needs assessment, that's really important, because some of you may remember when we first spoke to people in Ghana the very first time, when it was just Shelley and I, and we said we're going to do a project, they asked for a photocopier. Some of you might remember that. which is great, except there was no electricity. And they had no access to toner or paper. And if the photocopier did break, they had nobody who could fix it, right? And so that needs assessment, and your first visit is very much an introductory one. And I think that's a model that Rotary really needs to follow, because you can't expect to go the very first time and do something if you haven't built the relationships yet, and you haven't sat down and really fleshed out what can be done, what's needed, what should come first, that sort of thing. So we're hoping to spend some time doing that with them as well. So Ilias has to go because he's a busy lawyer. So bye, Ilias.
Bye.
So any questions? We're excited. We're working through it now. We've all sort of, the 16 people have committed to paying their flights to the Gambia. As Shelley said, it takes quite a while. We just thought it was safer to fly right into the Gambia instead of flying into some other country and then hanging out in some unknown airport somewhere in West Africa and hoping that you'll be able to get the next flight to the Gambia. So we are going straight into Banjul, and one of the things I'm trying to tell the team, or we will be telling the team during some of our meetings, is that Africa is not what is portrayed to be in the movies. Like, you're not going to see people jumping around with bones in their noses and stuff like that. Banjul is a very sophisticated place. Now, are there parts of it that are very poor? Sure. But guess what? There's parts of North America that are very poor. And as you go into the rural areas, it gets worse, just like it does here, right? So it's going to be quite a culture shock. I don't think there's many people on this team that have been to Africa at all. In fact, I think it may just be Shelley. Yeah, and Deborah. And that's it. So it's always interesting to watch people walk onto the continent for the very first time, and it's culture shock, right? So that's the part that Shelley and I really enjoy. So there's a question on the screen. Yeah.
Judy?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
my question is, so thank you very much, first of all, for giving us this information. But was that your sole purpose today, is to tell us about this? Or were you hoping that we might be able to help in some way, like with things to fill the container, or?
We didn't come here for the purpose of, we didn't come necessarily, Judy, for the purpose of
I
asking.
can't hear unless you're at the microphone.
Sorry, am I here? Can you hear me now? Yeah, so
Thank you.
we didn't come with the purpose of asking for money. When we were invited to come, we were just like, this is our home club, our old home club, and are just always happy to come and to share what's happening. Absolutely, we will be looking for funding, and if this is something that the club would like to support, because Deborah's on the team and everything, we would absolutely be very grateful for that, because we have the Chatham Club is a big enough club, Chatham Sunrise, that they've got some funds that they're putting forward. The Passport Club doesn't have a lot of money, so we don't have a whole lot, but we also do ask our members each to contribute $1,000 Canadian to the project, the team members. So we do have some funding there. But if there was something that this club wanted to support, for example, if there's something to do with the borehole or something with the education project, we absolutely would be.
Yeah, I just want to comment that one of the reasons why we ask team members to contribute $1,000 themselves, and they can fundraise it, it can come from their own money. If they happen to be in a club, they can ask the club. But what it does is it makes sure that any money that's spent on the trip that's not directly connected to the community. So for instance, paying gas for the bus that we need, we're all going to have to travel safely in one bus, for instance. That's paid for by the team members. So any money that comes in from a Rotary Club goes directly to the community. And that's one of the reasons why we ask, is so that it's very clear that any contributions anyone makes, there's no administration cost. It doesn't go to buy us beer at the end of the day. If I'm not even sure you can drink beer there, actually. So too bad. You're still going. Yeah. So every dollar that we get goes right back into the project. So that's, we'll raise $16,000 already, because we know everybody's going to contribute $1,000. Glenn's Club is well known for their roses for Rotary. Roses for Rotary. That's right. So they have committed how much money, Glenn?
16,000.
Yeah, 16,000 from the Chatham Sunrise Club, which most of it I think came from the Roses for Rotary project. Yeah. And there are other people that we're hoping will make contributions, but this club has been very supportive of Shelley and I in every project we've ever done, and we really appreciate it. I think even when we did a project in the Gambia,
No, this is the good.
sorry, Zambia. I gotta come up with names that aren't so familiar, but in the Zambia, we were actually with the Rotary Club in the Muskoka way. I think we got support from you guys as well. So yes, we always appreciate support, and thank you for everything you've done in the past. So.
And if there was a specific area that your club wanted to focus on, like water or education or whatever, then we could work with you in terms of what specifically was going to.
And once we come back, we'll know more about the community. We'll know more about their needs, and there may be a project coming out of that this club wants to take ownership of. Deborah will be there. She may come back and say, I really want to do this, and hopefully convince you guys to support her. On another trip or another project, we'll have to see. A lot of our trips we have found end up in a second or third visit. Some of you know that. We went to Ghana 3 times, I believe, with Relay. We didn't necessarily go on all of them, but it started this trend. Some of you know the work that Ron Arkell has been doing. We've created a monster with him. He's been back to Ghana about a dozen times now, building all kinds of stuff. Ethiopia, I believe when we went there, it was at least three trips as well. So, and Zambia would have been multiple trip, but COVID kicked in. And we did have a second trip plan, and then that got abandoned. I do expect that with the Gambia, we'll probably have a second or third trip as well. So we'll see. Any other questions? Ed?
A couple. First of all, you say the Gambia, it's like the Ohio State.
Yeah.
Why the? It's and the second thing is this a Rotary project, or is this a relay project, or is this Sunrise, Chatham, Kent? Like, and is there, if we gave money, is there a tax receipt that we could get out of this?
Yeah, okay. Well, the first one, I don't know why that's just the name of the country. We can ask them when we go there, but it's known as the Gambia. I think it's the only country that I know in Africa that is actually has the word "the" in front of it, but it is what it is. No, there's a couple other "the" places. The Netherlands. I don't know. As for your second thing, no, it's not a relay project, and it is a Rotary project, but it's a Rotary project of a couple Rotary clubs. So I consider Passport Club to be involved, obviously, because the 2 of us are there, and we do expect some money from the Passport Club. But we did talk about this before, and if there was any receipts that would be given, it would come from Glenn's club, the Rotary Club of Chatham Sunrise. Okay. Anything else? No. Well, it's great to be back. Sorry that you're leaving, but you're coming back eventually, right?
Not, well, I'll be on Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
She's hanging here as a club member, even though she's gonna be.
I have strong ties here still to this area, so
Yeah.
I will be back and in-person appearance from time to time.
Cameo.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So it's great to have you. Great to be here. Great to see some of you that we haven't seen in a while. And what we would like to do is after the project is come back and do a presentation. Obviously, we'll have some pictures, some video, and we'll show you some of these things that we hope will come to fruition, and we'll let you know how it turned out.
You say you have 16 members, or is there more? Or is there
16
Exactly
members.
16 right now.
We chose that for a few reasons. Shelley and I have gone, as you know, with teams of 2 to 24. 24 was a little bit big. 16, I know it sounds weird, but the hotel we're staying at only has 8 air-conditioned rooms. So it's actually the hotel, it's the only hotel in the area. That is the one that's sort of driven the size of the team. The other thing is I refuse to do this with carpooling. It's so important to keep the team together from a security perspective. So the buses they have can handle about 20 people. And so 16 is the right number. It gives you a little bit of extra space for luggage and stuff like that. So
somebody with a gun and stuff like that?
Sorry?
And somebody with a gun.
No, I think the Gambia, yeah, no, but that has happened to us on occasion. But the Gambia is quite a safe country. They haven't had any coups or revolutions or anything like that. Sorry, until we get there, yeah, because we've faced that in the past. So, yeah, so thank you.
Before you leave, do you want to come up too?
Glenn?
Sure. Come on, we gotta get a picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta scooch over.
Scooch. Oh, Scooch, okay.
All right.
You're in the picture too?
Yeah, we gotta get the Rotary.
Oh, okay.
Move over more.
All right.
Mike, can you come on this side?
Okay, sure.
All right.
There we go.
Yes.
All right.